Okay, welcome back, guys. Can you repeat that?
So I picked up Dota Plus, and they gave me the summary of my games. And basically, since we started the coaching, I've been on a 300 MMR Delta.
That's super
So
sick, dude.
we got stats to back the coaching.
Hell yeah, that's what we like to see.
Yeah, I've still been on a pretty good win streak. I just played a game and had a big fat loss. So we could go over that.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed you at Guardian 3. Good shit.
Yeah.
It is not loading your match history.
Yeah, my shit is also freezing a bit here, which is
It's so weird. I can see that you like played a bunch of games. Like you played like Necro, PA, Timbersaw, but then I open it and it won't show them to me.
weird.
Unfortunate.
Well, I was thinking if anything, we haven't done like a live coaching.
Yeah.
If you're open to doing one of those, I'd be down for something like that.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. That's fine with me.
That way, you know, you can kind of maybe see like where my mindset's at in certain situations.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. But let's go over real quick. Let's go over the last week. So another win streak, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. What'd you say it was? Like 300 MMR since we started?
Yep.
Like the weekly thing or what? I guess the last 3 months, right?
Something like that. Yeah, because it has the I let me see. I'd have to try and find the summary, but there was a calendar for all the games. Battle report. There we go. Yeah, December 1st to March 7th.
Okay.
Yeah, from that window, we have 70% lane win rate.
Nice.
330 actually ranked MMR Delta, and a 82% win rate.
Wow. 82% in the last 3 months?
82% versus
Damn.
players of similar skill.
Damn.
So
that's overall or like on a specific hero?
I think it's. Oh no, that's Clockwork. Okay.
Okay.
Let me see the general. The general is still a pretty close 67 lane win rate. A 510 ranked MMR Delta.
Wow. Okay.
And a 60% win rate.
Sweet, dude.
So
that is very good.
We're kicking ass.
Nice.
Apparently, I had my max win streak was 9.
Good stuff. What's your actual MMR at now? What does it say?
It is, I believe, close to 1200. Let me see. Am I wrong about that?
It'll say it in the stats.
Yeah, 1190.
1190. Okay.
So.
Cool. All right. So what? Let's see. What did we talk about last time? We talked about for the Witch Doctor 5 one, analyzing teamfight abilities and how best to execute them, itemizing / using items in conjunction with our abilities, comboing abilities together, considering optimal versus mandatory usage, and placing more wards. So how did all those things feel?
So it's kind of hard. It's easier to go over with heroes I'm more familiar with, and in general simpler heroes, but I have like tried to keep a lot of stuff in mind since then that I think has like improved my fighting abilities. Like when I'm in it, I don't know, just having that kind of mindset also, like where I'm thinking about like what's the best use of my ability, like naturally leads me to start thinking, okay, who do I want to use these abilities on?
Yeah.
So I think I had a good PA game where sometimes I think in the past I'd like chose bad targets, and I think I did a good job of like not just randomly engaging just because a fight broke out, and just like sticking around till like the person who makes the most sense for me to jump on shows up, and then I was able to jump on them.
Nice.
Yeah. So stuff like that. Considering like I think I went against a Timber that game, so I was like, okay, I'll get my shard.
Okay.
Try and like combo that, you know, like dagger him, jump in, shard. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
PA is
awesome.
pretty simple for that type of stuff, so not the hardest hero, but
It's the same stuff though. You know,
yeah.
like your spells are smaller, but it always applies, right? You know,
Yeah.
like, do you want to Phantom Strike onto the Necrophos or onto the Hoodwink?
Right,
What
right,
makes more
right.
sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Speaking of which, I have had some good Necro games too,
Okay.
and I've been trying to like by that same principle, like take advantage of like the Shroud slow. I had like a few good times where I was getting chased down, and I used the Shroud slow to get away.
Oh, nice.
Stuff like that, using kind of trying to be like creative with pulse. So like after hitting a certain point where I'm just like constantly refreshed with health and mana, I was just like using pulse off cooldown to heal my like team after fights.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
All
yeah.
good stuff. Any issues you're noticing? Like consistent problems that were popping up, or things that you like weren't sure on like what to do about, or anything like that?
The Timbersaw game was kind of hard for that. I smashed my lane. It might have just kind of been the team comp, because we had the new hero safe lane, we had sniper mid, then there was me and an ogre who went Midas as hard support,
Okay.
and Venge. So it felt like I smashed in my lane, but then the other heroes like ideally how it would have went is my like the supports would have just rallied around me and we would have just gotten a bunch of pickoffs. But what ended up happening was that they 5-manned the Muerta and Sniper a bunch, and kind of like use that as their way back into the game.
Okay.
So
if you let's see. So I want to try and keep it shorter than the previous ones. So
yeah,
if do you want to go over that Timber replay like for like 20 minutes, or what do you want to do?
we could do it even quicker. I just kind of want to look at like as soon as the towers fall, or whenever I knock down their safe lane tower, what do you think about what I did, and how should I have responded to what they were doing?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we don't even have to look like late into the game, because it kind of just becomes sad.
Gotcha. All right, let's have a look.
Your turn to ban.
Oh, it's got the new intro on it. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so so we won our lane, and then we're thinking about what to do after that. That's the main question.
I occupied the lane like I normally do, but I knew that like I was the strong one at this point. So I'm like, all right, so I need to look out for what I can do. I think maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm not like Timber's not obviously somebody who really hits the tower. So I felt like that's not what I do, you know. I don't push the lane, hit the tower, and get them there.
Well, you can.
I guess maybe that could have been, yeah.
And you do have your flamethrower shard.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind, right? But if if we look at the comps, they've got big Enigma Black Hole. They've got Undying Tombstone, which is annoying. I don't even know where Undying is. What the hell's Undying? So you're not good against Black Hole. You're not good against pretty much anything Undying does. You have no lockdown for a Spirit Breaker, but you also don't really care about Spirit Breaker. Let's see. PA is not a threat to you until she gets her shard. And then Invoker is like pretty much the only one that has damage to kill you. So this game's a bit weird where like you don't really interact efficiently with them and they don't interact efficiently with you. So you should have like a ton of space to just go ham, like pushing lanes. Like unless they commit like a black hole or like Invoker to trying to get you, like you should be free to just split push like crazy here. And then also because of like Spirit Breaker and PA's mobility, like your stuff isn't even that good against them. So I don't know. Let's see. And then on your team, you've got like good backline damage. And then it's like Venge and Ogre are the only like stuns. So it's mainly, I think this match would come down to like how well the Enigma positions and if Venge is like ready to cancel Black Hole and stuff like that.
30 seconds to battle.
Well, let's see. Should we just jump ahead a few minutes?
Yeah, we might as well. There's nothing too crazy that happens. I think early on I die, and then slowly we start winning.
Okay.
But maybe that does make sense that I should have just been pressuring the tower, even if I'm not like the person who typically wants to hit towers.
Yeah, it's not actually. It actually doesn't matter if your hero does a lot of damage to the tower, because if the creeps are all pretty much, unless you're like a summoning or like a hero with an ability that damages the tower, the creeps are going to out damage pretty much everybody else on towers anyway, outside of like carries, right? So as long as there's like creeps smacking their tower constantly, like it's something that they can't like ignore, otherwise you get a ton of map control. So it's kind of the same thing with any hero. But it's like the typical offlane thing, right? Like you're just trying to get them to rotate on you, and if they don't rotate on you, they lose all their towers, right? And Timbersaw is also not really like a roaming gank guy the way like, you know, a Mars offlane might be or something like that, where he's gonna like get blink and like show up to a fight and wipe people.
Yeah.
He's closer to like a Necro or something like that, where he kind of just plays in the area and then nobody really wants to fight him. So he kind of just gets that lane for free.
Right.
I mean, you're tanking Tombstone right now, and like against it Undying, it's like it doesn't matter, and then you just kill him, right?
Yeah.
It should kind of look like this for the entire game, I would say. And I guess your goal would be, especially if your team is like having a tough time. If they're not having a tough time, maybe it's different. But like if they are having a tough time, you should be actually trying to draw the threatening heroes to you, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what I'm kind of realizing with this game is I hit a point where I felt like really hard to kill, and I think I kind of like missed the window of using that to pressure really hard. That would have relieved some of the pressure on the other lanes.
Right. Let's see. Because I mean, that becomes more or less relevant based on like how much the enemy team actually is pressuring your other lanes. Like if you win all 3 lanes, and it's like, oh, it doesn't matter if they rotate on you, right?
Yeah.
Because then you're just cleaning the map up until you guys get Roche and go high ground.
Right.
But I like the itemization. Like, Pipe is good because the main threat is Invoker, right?
Right.
Kaya, because you're actually not that threatened anyway, so why not build more damage? So the main thing I'd be thinking about here is, this is great that you're down here and your team still has mid and everything, but it looks like nobody wants to be top anymore.
Yeah.
So this is like the main thing you can do. Like if it feels like, all right, my team would be okay farming down here, like I killed the tower, then does this open up this area? Maybe I just jump over here and we lane swap.
Yeah.
That could be one thing. Or if they are fine up here, then you can just keep pushing this. But it's an alternative. Because no one is farming this lane on either team. Like Sniper's gonna try, it looks like. And that's really your main goal in this period, right? Your main goal should always be like, do we get to safely farm all 3 lanes? And then if we do, like, how much of the jungle do we then get to farm? You're just trying to get more farm constantly. I mean, you guys have a 10k lead already. Like, this is going well.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, like this type of thing. Like, I would just say bottom.
Yeah.
Radiant's middle tower structure is under Dire's top tower has fallen.
Yeah, this felt really bad.
I mean, it's not like
Dire's bottom tower.
it's not necessarily terrible, but just notice how like your team isn't utilizing the space efficiently, right? So you came up here, and then nobody went bottom, and no one's farming all this. So like really high efficiency teams, like literally everything is getting farmed that can be farmed. And so at this rank, people aren't going to do that, obviously, because they're scared. They're like, oh, I don't know what's down here. But it's like they should know that it's safe because you guys have wards and like you can see all the enemy heroes. Like someone should come down here and farm this. But you can't control that. So it might just be like, well, I'll be the guy that goes and does that then, right?
Right.
And I think that's all. It's fine. It's whatever. You could look at it. I mean, you could look at that death. Like, do you want to look at that and see if that was good or bad?
Yeah, we could look at that.
Okay. Because at the point that you decided to rotate, that's kind of where the decision point starts, right? So
yeah,
because you've left bottom to come get mid. This is something like an example, just being efficient. Like Muerta and Venge are already here, like they can get this. So maybe stay here. But if you do come up here and then you decide to go top, let's see. You kind of need to know what you can see. It's pretty dark up there. You guys have the one ward. Like you see Spirit Breaker and Enigma.
Tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's top tower is under attack.
I think it's okay. I mean, you're a little bit late on it, but you're TPing in to defend the tower. I don't think there's anything wrong with this, actually. Explicitly because they're pressuring the tower, like, it's okay. You should be the first one in, because you're the tank. And now that you're here, like, you may as well be up here, but your whole fucking team's here, so... Feels like your instinct is to walk away, which I kind of agree with here. It's kind of similar to the bristleback problem, honestly. Of just like Timbersaw just being like an unkillable god that can't actually lock anyone down. So if they don't want to die to you, they don't have to, right? They could just kite you around. And that can be tough, especially against like high mobility shit. So here, I guess it would be a question of which hero can't get away from me with my like timber chain or whatever the hell it's called, my chakram slow.
True.
Not timber chain. So everybody's gone invisible now. I don't know. I mean, they committed Black Hole and everything like that. Like, it's just not much your hero can do, right? And it looked like we didn't really want that fight anyway. That's not a huge deal. And the whole reason we came there was to defend the tower, which is correct. From here, so when you come back out, you already have 3 heroes up here. So I think walking mid is correct. Muerta's down here. So yeah, I think just getting ready to push this wave out is like the next objective. That also puts you in position to go up here if a fight does start.
Yeah.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, it's just really weird because the team wasn't like super
Radiant's bottom tower
what's the word I'm looking for? Like, we weren't communicating super well. So, and they were doing a good job of staying together and not getting picked off, which is kind of what it seems like our team really wants to do. Like, they want to come around me, stun somebody, then I chakra them.
Bottom tower is under
Another big thing to think about is also how, because the whole idea of like, okay, we're going to go farm this area of the map versus that area of the map, it's going to be, as a 3, it's going to be relevant to where the 1 and the 2 can farm, right? So Sniper doesn't really want to farm side waves by himself because there's a Spirit Breaker and there's an Invoker and there's a PA. So there's like 3 heroes that can kind of just kill him. Like, he doesn't know if PA's nearby because of Blur, and then he has to worry about Sunstrike, and he has to worry about Spirit Breaker jumping him. So this guy needs to farm in safe areas or near teammates. Huerta should be the same thing, given that she has 0 escape. It's just kind of, it's like a magic damage sniper. It's the same fucking thing, right? So you kind of have 2 carries, effectively, that don't want to be solo farming anywhere. So it's just kind of another reason for you to be like trying to go off and farm solo, especially in this game. And the rest of it is kind of up to them. Like you've already seen, like when you are in the team fights, you can't actually like peel for anybody. You can't like stop Spirit Breaker from charging or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like yeah, I think it's just another one of those games where you're trying to pull people towards you as much as possible, which means basically we should just be hitting the wave and then like, this sucks, but it's like, it's fine, you know?
Yeah.
It's like not a big deal that you die there, really, because they're not killing. You're farming in a dangerous area, and they're not killing Sniper and Huerta, so it's kind of like, it's fine.
True.
This death is stupid, and this is why this shit sometimes doesn't work, because like Huerta comes down here when you just got ganked here, and then just dies here. So like, what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah.
You can't do anything about that. But I don't know. I mean, it's just, I guess like you're just trying to do that as much as possible. So I would say here, like, unless you were like actually scared of dying or like close to an item timing, you basically should never be hitting jungle camps. It should just be like constantly like, all right, I'm going to shove this wave until it's in the tower. And then if it's safe, I'm going to cut the creeps and dive the next wave. And if it's not safe, then I'll go jungle. And that's basically just what your whole routine should be for the entire match. And just try and get them to rotate on you, because like your other cores can't do it. Like they have to kind of 4-man blob and like farm in here on wards the whole time. So it's just your job here to be the suicide bomb, basically. Similar to Sand King games or what we talked about before. Do you have any questions about any of this stuff so far?
No, I'm glad that like that it seems like generally I'm doing the right thing, because I felt like I was trying to make good decisions, but it was just kind of like hard because I'm not sure if there's something I could have done alternatively that was like just like I wasn't thinking about. But it kind of felt like that game where it was like I'm sorry, you said what?
No, continue what you're saying.
Yeah, it just kind of felt like a game where things were really awkward.
Yeah.
And it was going to be a hard game.
It is. It's your draft. Okay, so that's the question. So can you figure out, can you explain to me why, from a drafting perspective, this feels awkward?
Because I think I'm assuming Huerta is going to be a hero that takes some time to come online. We have Sniper mid, who needs farm to come online. It also doesn't really do anything as far as starting fights, stunning, anything like that. It's just straight up backline damage and high ground defense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really the only one who can take a lot of damage, so plays mostly have to base around me initiating, though I'm not really like I can initiate sort of, but not really because I don't have a stun. I just kind of chakram or chain into them,
Right.
and I can't really hold them down.
Right.
Sniper doesn't want to get jumped on. Muerta doesn't really want to get jumped on. And we don't have too much to stop that.
How about the supports? How do your supports play into this at all?
I think that what they should be looking to do is waiting for these heroes like PA and Spirit Breaker and Enigma to jump on us and find a way to cancel them or interrupt. And alternatively, when we are playing offensively, they should look to set up for probably me as far as like the early mid to mid game, since I'm going to be probably the highest net worth at that point and like the most able to do damage.
Who has the better team fight here?
Them. They have a lot more team fight. They have Enigma ult. They have Tombstone. They have generally, Invoker's abilities. SB can jump in, stun a bunch, and set up for Black Hole or kind of be in our face so PA can jump on somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I would say is, like, given that like it has to go a little bit deeper than that. So what I would say is, like, okay, Ogre has like no AoE effectively, right? Venge, same thing, no AoE. She has a really good save and she has a good black hole cancel, and that's like the main strength that your team has here, because your sniper and your Muerta are just damage dealers. They just peep people, peep. That's all they do. They just do damage, right? So your comp, in theory, should outcarry them because of that, even against like a PA. Like, I think having 2 right clickers versus just the 1, you guys should be better off. And then because you have this Nether swap, like, it doesn't matter how long the game goes, like, she can always cancel black hole unless there's like a Lincoln's or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Ogre's going Greaves and 4 staff, so he's going like save items. Just ignore the Midas because it's Ogre, whatever. He's gone save items. It looks like she's going for save items as well, and then these guys are just building damage, right? So yeah, your team fight sucks, but you have like decent defensive stuff given what these guys are doing and what they can do. And then obviously, like, you can't cancel a black hole or anything like that. So I guess, like, there's basically 2 ways to think about this. So the first is like, okay, so our team sucks at team fighting. Can we itemize to fix any of that? Like, do we need to buy like Scythe of Ice? Could I maybe pick up a Yule so that I can cancel black hole? Like buying extra spells to make up for the spells you don't have. That's like the first path. And the second path is, okay, so if our team fight sucks, how do we just never team fight and just split the map up, right?
Right.
And then that would mean that you basically are just itemizing defensively as much as possible, because you're planning to just be off by yourself constantly, like trying to not get ganked. So you might buy yourself like a Lincoln's or a BKB or a Yule's or whatever the hell, because your sole goal is to go off on the side and get them to rotate on you, and then you get out and survive, right? That's all you're trying to do, because you don't want a team fight ever, because this team is just going to take like 45 minutes before it's ready to do anything, right? So is that all making sense?
Yeah.
I think the second path here is probably the way to go, except for the fact that they have both better team fight and they have better pick off because of Spirit Breaker and Invoker. So like the normal route of, okay, we'll just split the map up and, never group as 5 doesn't work as well anymore because of that like global threat. So honestly, their draft just sucks. That's basically what it comes down to. This draft just sucks. And so
Yeah.
you should just be playing for time as much as possible. And because these guys, it's up to them, really. It's up to Sniper and Huerta to like position so that they can't just get Spirit Breaker charged. And it means like basically they're just going to be farming like this. This is all they're going to farm is just this and this, right? And shove the wave out when it comes up to them and do this. And the support's job, Ogre's job, should be to just stand in front of Sniper and like break smoke ganks, you know, and then should just be like shadowing a carry, just waiting to swap them out or swap Enigma, and that's it. And so then you just need to like, I think it doesn't make sense for all 5 people to be in the same place. So then you would just be split pushing the whole time. So I think that's how I would play this here. I just itemize defensively as much as possible. If they're not responding to me, then I go shard and I start pressuring towers. That's pretty much it.
Sure.
Versus like this Kaya and Sanj doesn't. It's okay, like it's a good item on your hero, but it doesn't change any of that, right? So it only makes you a little bit tankier, kind of gives you a bit more damage, and it just gives you more efficiency. Like you're just more Timbersaw than you already were. It doesn't like add a spell in or block a spell or anything like that. So if this item lets you split push effectively, then it's fine. But if it isn't, if it's just to like help you do damage in fights, then I wouldn't worry about it. The same thing with this vessel actually. So I'm guessing you bought this for the Undying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just skip it. I'd skip it, and also because first off, Undying, like yeah, he heals, but it's not like he's like I don't know, like a witch doctor or an IO or an alchemist or something like that. That's not his like main trait is healing, right? And also because we're planning to split push a bunch, that means you're not going to be in any fights usually or getting a lot of kills, so you're not going to get a lot of charges on it. So it's kind of just a waste of gold here. Like this could be like something weird like a Blink or a Yules or whatever, right? I think that's basically it. Like that's kind of all you can do like with this draft. It's like, okay, my team sucks at team fighting, so I'm just going to try and make it so the enemy team comes after me all game, and that's how we're going to like buy time. You're just making space. It's like the quintessential position 3, like I run around and feed and make space. Like that's all you're doing here, I think.
True.
Or should be trying to do. It doesn't make sense for you guys to try to team fight in response because your guy doesn't do anything in the team fights and your cores are just gonna die for the most part. So don't even try for it.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It felt that way. It didn't feel like us being 5 is going to make much of a change.
No. Yeah, I think just buy a bunch of defensive items and split push. That's pretty much it. Like this shot is fine. What would be good defensive items here? BKB is nice. Doesn't really help you against Enigma too much. But like, I don't know. If you're just gonna itemize for split pushing as much as possible, then I think like bots would be good.
Yeah. Probably, yeah, BKB.
Bots, maybe BKB, definitely, mainly for Invoker. You can't do anything really about like Spirit Breaker bashes or PA breaking you. But Shiva's Guard would be good against those two.
Could I Yules off the break?
I don't think break can be dispelled.
Oh, interesting.
I think like flat out, like it's just not dispellable, which is freaking stupid and needs to be changed. But let me see real quick. Fan of Knives. We'd have to look on the wiki real quick. I don't think that like Silver Edge, I know you can't dispel that, and but I don't know about hers. Maybe you can dispel it. But another thing actually with what's it called? Timbersaw is that Timbersaw is weird in that like if you do break him, all it does is prevent him from getting more stacks of reactive armor. It doesn't remove the ones you already have.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so if you're sitting here with 40 stacks and then she breaks you, like it doesn't matter to you at all. So it's only useful against Timbersaw to break him if it's the first thing you're doing, and then you guys are going to wail on him. It's different than a Bristleback, because Bristleback is just like binary. Like he either has damage reduction or he doesn't. Or like a Dragon Knight, like you break him, he loses a bunch of armor, right? But with you, your ability is a passive that creates a buff that stays on you and can't be dispelled. So you actually don't care about breaks too much. Let's see. Why is break on hit? Where does it say if it's dispellable? I mean, it's pure damage, her Fan of Knives, and it does max health. That's I think that's the main threat, not the break. It's the pure 16% max health.
True.
That's the problem. Oh, if it says dispelled by break. No, that's not what we want.
Weird.
Dispel. It's not really talking about it, so I'm just going to assume that maybe there is a way, but I mean, maybe it's like strong dispel or something. But like, I don't think you can really itemize to get rid of break. But also, it again, it doesn't matter, so it's not worth really thinking about.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, maybe like Shivas would have been good here. Bots would have been good. Maybe a Blink Dagger for just being more elusive in trees and stuff. Yules would have been really, really good anyway, because it's defensive, gives you mana regen, and until Enigma gets BKB, like you can cancel his Black Hole.
Oh.
Or you can like Yules a Spirit Breaker while he's in the middle of a charge or something like that.
True.
So Yules would have been good. BKB doesn't do anything really for you except for like some of Enigma spells and like Invoker spells, but like that's not really like a huge deal. So I think you're just basically going for like damage reduction, like Shiva's Pipe and maybe a Yules, and then bots to get around the map, and that's pretty much it. It should be good like that.
Yeah, that makes the most sense. I think given the comp and what playing Timbersaw, the best I can do is to just be like an unkillable, annoying person that they have to like respond to.
Right. It's like the same thing as Bristleback.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing basically. It's just magic damage Bristleback basically.
Yeah.
Like this is great, like you can find a way to do this the whole game, because then it doesn't even matter. Like your Muerta just dies on the side.
Yeah.
So I guess it requires a little bit of coordination with your team. Your team has to know all this stuff, otherwise it's not going to work. Like the sniper and the Muerta have to know, like, okay, I can't go anywhere by myself or I just insta die, and this Timber is just going to run off and like feed in the side lanes, and I have to utilize that, So this is just a hard game. But the fact that you guys were up 10k and then dropped, like, that's kind of rough. So maybe it's worth looking at how that happened.
Well, part of it, some context is that the Muerta was raging real bad, and the way that they wanted to play the game was they wanted like me to sit around wherever that they were gonna like push in a lane, and then like back them up. And I was like, that doesn't sound like a very good idea. I think that just ends up with you dead and me like not really able to do much.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I mean, the thing is, like, if there is going to be a team fight, you do need to be there, but they should not be trying to pressure like that. I don't know. Maybe there was an opportunity where it made sense. Let's look for one, because you guys are up 9k right now. Like, this should mean you guys can win.
Yeah. What I figured was the way to this game is me, Ogre, and Venge push out and look for picks, while Muerta and Sniper farm as much as possible.
Yeah, see, that's the problem though, is they can't even they can't be alone because the the enemy team like might smoke into them or might wander into them. So like your supports kind of need to babysit them even when they're farming.
Yeah. So maybe then that's kind of more of the deal is the supports need to sit around them while I take as much attention away from them on the opposite side of the map as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
That way they can keep securing farm.
Like
So-
here, this is kind of the issue. They don't understand this. So like you TP'd here because you're defending a tower. Like that's good, right? We're gonna defend tower. Okay, great. We're Timbersaw. That's perfect. They shouldn't come here behind you, right? Because this is like, oh, we're gonna team fight now, right? No, we're not team fighting. No, go away. Go over here, like Sniper's doing. Good job, Sniper. Don't show up to this nonsense. And so you trying to leave is good, I think. Because it's like, all right, we don't want to be clustered here. I don't want to be clustered with everybody else. I'm going to walk away, right? But you kind of get baited back into it. Yeah. I think just going back in on this fight, re-engaging on this was kind of the issue.
Yeah.
Because again, it comes back to it's very similar to that example with Sand King when you had Poison Nova on you. It's like I want to go into this fight, but like it's not actually good, so I feel like I'm forced to.
Right.
And in this game, it's different. It's not because you have Poison Nova and it's canceling Blink, but it's because like your abilities don't actually stop any of this from happening. You just do damage. So like unless you're like running at the Enigma and killing him, that's pretty much all you can do, right? Or killing Undying next to trees or something like that. It's actually very, very similar to that other game. Like same thing, right? Like they all got caught by Chrono, and this one they all got caught by Black Hole, and you kind of just have to watch. Like you're trying to peel by doing damage. You could say like that's like what you're going for. But it, you know, if they're smart, it doesn't do anything, right?
Yeah.
It's like you can't stop the Spirit Breaker doing this. So you're maybe better off. So like, I guess actually, this goes back to like a concept of like how to deal with diving heroes, right? Like if they have a hero that dives my team and I can dive their team, is it better for me to go back and pile damage on that guy? Or do I just do what he's doing and run into their team? Right?
Yeah.
So while he's doing this, you could just run at these three. Maybe you'll die or whatever. But like when you were on the Invoker originally, that's kind of the decision point there.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like you have to just note like, okay, I can't stop this. I have nothing to stop her dying to this, right? So best option, run an Invoker, zone him out instead.
True.
Because
That makes a lot of sense.
He can't get to the Avenge unless he runs through all of my damage. So like, okay, you're gonna zone, I'm gonna zone. It's, you know, it evens out, right?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because even if I can't stun them, just being able to separate the fight into two different smaller fights might give my team the advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's either gonna give your team the advantage, or you know you're gonna kill someone in the back line while Spirit Breaker kills someone in the back line, or it's gonna just prevent the team fight from actually happening at all.
Yeah.
Where like Spirit Breaker goes off and feeds into your team and you feed into their team, and now it's like a full reset. Like neither team has dive and they're just looking at each other, and then, you know, yeah, that can be like the next best option. It's either that or you get out, basically. Like either you just go ham and dive, or you just leave and run away. Trying to see like if there were any more, because that's like the first kind of real team fight that's happened.
Yeah. It really didn't happen too often this game, where we had like 5-on-5. It was mostly them being able to kind of like jump on us.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I'm looking for the next like disastrous thing to happen, because I think they got Roche at one point. All right, so This is what you wanted to happen. You wanted Venge and Ogre following you around, right?
Yeah. But at this point, they were so strong, and they also came as 5, that it didn't feel great. Which maybe makes like how I thought my plan would go. Like, you know, if I'm the person trying to drag the team to me, we're not going to be able to get the pickoffs like I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, do we need to smoke with our offlaner, or do we smoke to the offlaner, right?
Yeah, so maybe my strategy in that sense wasn't the way to go.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, it's just kind of been like a series of pickoffs, it looks like.
Yeah, that's really how it goes until they start high grounding us, and then it's like, you know, at that point the gold has swung so far in their favor that, you know, we can't really stand up to them.
Yeah, see, like, Ogre needs to not show up. Please don't show up. And that maybe that's just something, right? So if you notice you're in these games and it's like, yo, I am explicitly, like, you know, your plan is I am explicitly trying to draw the enemy team to me away from you guys. You can just tell them, like, yo, don't come. Let me die.
Yeah.
And just tell them, like, you can say it before you even start doing it. And you just be like, hey guys, I'm just going to try and make space for you. So I'm going to be off by myself. Don't feel like you need to back me up, you know?
Yeah, to be fair to them, that wasn't my thinking in this game, but it should have been.
Right.
And I get tipped because this guy was mad.
It'd be like that. This is mainly stemming from, like, it can be different, right? So if you're okay, that's the tipping point right there. That team fight. Is this avoidable? Like, is anything you did gonna change this? No, it's basically just they can initiate better. They have the vision advantage because of Tombstone and all the zombies and I guess the only thing here is to keep that in mind and then not stand right next to PA. Not like you can stop Black Hole, but that's basically it.
Yeah, I fucking pinged them where to, like, let's try and hit this Tombstone before we walked away from it, but didn't go that way. But maybe it wouldn't have really even mattered because they still would have had the vision. They see us hitting the Tombstone, they jump on us. So maybe that doesn't really matter that much. We should have maybe just gone separate paths.
Not really. It doesn't make a big difference. But I like it's actually the same story as this fight over here when you were chasing Evoker and then you turned around, right? So when you're hitting Enigma, this is the kind of thing that you actually need to keep doing. You need to keep following this through. Like you can't help your team. Enigma's like one of the primary threats to your team, so just run him down and zone him or kill him. Like that's the best in a team fight. Like that's the best contribution you can make, besides like killing squishies, right?
Yeah.
So like he kind of broke contact there because he blinked out, and I think even if like you don't get caught in this black hole, it's kind of the same thing either way. So like let's say you ran over here, right, and she just solo dies. If you're alive, it means you can keep split pushing and stuff like that. So that's, I guess, the only takeaway from here is like once you aren't able to zone Enigma anymore, it's just be careful not to stand next to your cores when there's an Enigma or any big AoE ult, like a Chrono or something like that. Just be careful about keeping your spacing, and that's really it. That's the only takeaway from that I can think of. Maybe there's something else that I can't think of it.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I feel you.
Well, there you go. There's the gold swing. Okay, so let's look at takeaways here then. So let's see. This was Timbersaw 3 game. So what are our main lessons? So if we're a hero like Timbersaw or Bristleback or somebody like that, who's like an unkillable god, but can't actually affect the fight with spells, and our team, if we have the weaker team fight and they have better like team fight and pick off, and you're this type of hero, then it should just be making space, right?
Yeah.
So focus on making, Jesus Christ, making space, drawing attention in games where you are tanky god and your team fight sucks, basically.
Yeah.
And then itemizing to split push in these games. So that would have been what? Yules, bots. Other games, it could be like BKB, Lincolns, Lotus, Blink, all that kind of stuff, right? But in this game specifically, I think Shivas would have been good because of PA and Spirit Breaker. Like, they don't like attack speed slows, right? And also armor is good. And then also your shard for tower pressure. That would have been good too. That's another way to force them into you. You think of a third one here? Third takeaway?
Commit to the dive.
Yeah, definitely. So in a double, I guess like a mirrored dive situation where they're diving you and you're diving them, if you can't heal their diver off, then commit to diving yourself to separate the teams. You want to push their damage dealers away, split it up all over the place so they don't have like a coherent formation, right?
Right.
Yeah, and then that can either make the team fight good for you, or it can make it so it doesn't happen at all.
True.
Yeah, I think that's three things to work on. You're not going to have a lot of these games, but you will if you play these heroes a lot. Like that's going to happen, right?
And it's still worthwhile knowing.
Mm-hmm. Because I think even if you're not playing a hero that's like this, like let's say you are playing a Mars or whatever, but then the entire enemy team gets BKBs, and you're kind of in the same situation. It's like, my spells don't actually do anything, so what else can I do, right? But I think it's going to happen more often on these types of heroes. Just like the no CC hero, basically. No CC tanky guy. All right, cool. Any other questions, or should we wrap it up there?
No. Honestly, that was really good for illuminating what I should have done in the game, which was exactly what I was looking for.
Gotcha. Awesome. Okay. It's good to know. Good to know. The last thing, and kind of what influences all of these decisions in the first place is like actually thinking about where and how your other cores need to farm.
Oh.
And that's because you don't really want to take team fights anyway. We probably have better late game. They should focus on farming. I mean, they should always focus on farming anyway, but it's extra important here, right? And then that can influence your decision. Because it might be that, like, you need to be the guy babysitting them, you know? But typically with a Timbersaw, no. But maybe another hero would be good, like a Tide Hunter or something like that. All right, cool. That's pretty good. So we will call it there. That went longer than I wanted, but I'm still working on it. But anyway, don't worry about this one game too much. Like, don't let it get you down. Because
sure.
You're on a huge win streak, right? So it's gonna happen every 5 or 6 games. You just have this game. It's just like I have no idea how to win this one, and it probably was just gonna be really hard anyways. Don't worry about it too much.
That PA game I won initially, I think. Was it the PA game? Maybe no, never mind. It was a Necro game. I mean, the PA game was good, but that Necro game right before, For some reason, my team decided to tri lane against their offlaner
Okay.
and just kind of like left me to deal with Ogre and Lifestealer. And I think I performed pretty well
Okay.
given that situation.
Well, it looks like their decision paid off because the axe is
Yeah.
412 and 0. So, I mean, just dumpstering a hero like that can snowball is pretty good, especially if it's a lane matchup that's like decent for you. I think Necro versus any pure right clicker theoretically should be decent because you can just go with hero, right? So that's cool though, and you're able to adapt to it.
Yeah, I mean, I really do enjoy Necro. The only thing that's super painful about Necro is this laning phase.
Right.
Laning phase Necro feels horrible. Late game Necro feels fucking sick.
Yeah, I could never really get the hang of him, but he's a weird one.
For sure. It's just like, you get your scythe off and then you're just kind of like a walking damage
right
/ heal.
That's cool. All right. Well, I mean, just keep all this. It's probably a lot of stuff piling up now to be thinking about all the time.
For sure.
So I find what helps me is just go back to the notes every now and then and try and hopefully some of this stuff will like caramelize, you know what I mean? And you won't have to be thinking about it anymore. So I'm sure like probably some of this stuff is starting to just like sink in, and it's not like you don't.
For sure. And some of the stuff, like if I'm in a specific situation, I'm going to look back at these. Like if I'm going to play Witch Doctor, I'm going to look back at that Witch Doctor game we went over. Probably what I'll do is like if I get an off-lane game, I'll just play a Timber or a Bristleback again and put these things into practice just so now they're like muscle memory for when I play these heroes.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds good, man.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, definitely. Good job on your climb. Keep it up.
I couldn't have done it without you, so thank you.
Thank you as well. Appreciate the compliments. All right, man. I got to get some dinner, so I will catch you around. Have fun with the Muerta patch.
Yeah, I can't wait to get grief some more.
And so actually, we should think of what should some homework be? Do you think just playing more of these types of heroes and just like keeping this stuff in mind might be good?
Yeah, I think maybe the best thing, maybe what I should do after each session is try to recreate the situation to the best of my ability. Obviously, like team comps and stuff like that, I can't really do that. But if I like something like this that's so specific, like a Timbersaw or a Bristle, I'll just play those heroes and get in that situation again and do the right thing this time.
That's really good. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I like that. Cool. All right. Well, you can definitely do that for the next, however many games you want to do, but that could be good homework for the week.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we can maybe that'll be like a good way of structuring the like beginnings of the sessions is we'll go over like the homework and I'll specifically talk about like how implementing those changes immediately had an effect.
Yeah, sounds good to me, man. I like it.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool. Alrighty. Well.
All right, man. Catch you around.
All right, have a good one. Nice. Alrighty. That was good. That was a good session. Save this. Boom. Turn recording off. Thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget I have a Dota coaching playlist and a stream on Twitch every weekday at Mr. TV. Thank you for watching.